Okay, gentlemen, today we are going to discuss on the coursework relating to Unit 4 of ProQual NVQ Level 6 Diploma in Occupational Health and Safety Practice. So the unit is develop and maintain individual and organizational competence in health and safety matters. So, this unit title is simply asking about the individual and organizational competence. In this unit, we will discuss on the competence of individual and organizations with respect to health and safety matters. For this, we have 4 learning outcomes, and for 4 learning outcomes we have 15 assessment criteria for this unit. So as we are doing in the past with the last 3 units, so we are going to leave the last learning outcome, the learning outcome number 4, and it's one of criteria because it is about the CPD. So we are not discussing CPD at the moment. So here for this unit, what we have to do, we have to work on 3 learning outcomes and their 14 assessment criteria. In learning outcome 1, we have 4 assessment criteria. In learning outcome 2, we have 4 assessment criteria, and in learning outcome 3, we have 6 assessment criteria. For successful completion of this unit, we have to met all these 14 assessment criteria to get the pass grade in this unit. So starting from the first learning outcome, it is about be able to assess the health and safety competence needs of the organization. So in this learning outcome, it's asking about the health and safety competence assessment, that you should be able to assess the health and safety competence needs of the organization, that what type of competence is required from individuals with respect to health and safety for your organization. In this regard, the first assessment criteria is 1.1, critically analyze the functions, activities, tasks, and job roles of the organization. So in this assessment criteria, what you have to do, you have to look after that what are the roles and organizations people having in your organization with respect to that functions, activities, tasks, and roles. So what type of competence is required there? So in this regard, what you can do for potential narrative, or you can say for explanation, you can explain with respect to your organization that what task role does your organization undertake. For example, what type of activities or tasks you are performing in your organization. So you have to explain that task in this one, that typical or specific activity you are performing in your workplace. So for that purpose, when you will explain any activity, any task, any function, any job roles there, so you have to explain there that what type of competence they required. As we know that competence term, we have CAT there, KATE, knowledge, ability, training, and experience. So you have to identify here that critically what type of knowledge, what type of ability, and what type of training and experience is required to perform these activities which you have analyzed or identified in your workplace, which you have to perform there, or which your workforce, the workforce of the organization, has to perform them. So in as an evidence, what you will do, that after this critical analysis, you will you can make training matrices, you can make competency assessment, you can make organization delivery of training. So such things you have to manage after this assessment criteria. So in 1.2, 1.1 is just like that, and 1.2, identify the health and safety competence needs of the functions, activities, tasks, and job roles of the organization. These four assessment criterias are almost asking for the same thing, and with respect to evidences, you can use the same evidence for these four purposes, just explaining them according to the assessment criteria. So here, in first, you have analyze the function activities. Now in this assessment criteria 1.2, you specifically have to explain the health and safety competency needs of the functions, activities, tasks, and job roles of the organization. So you will perform same thing, like you will explain that this activity, like you have a forklift driving activity, you have a bricklaying activity. If you are doing in a construction industry, working in a construction industry, and your organization is dealing with the civil works, so you have a bricklaying, you have a plant operators, specific machinery there. So what you have to do, you just have to identify the health and safety competent needs to perform that functions, activities, tasks. And in the same thing, that because it is almost asking about the competence, so potential evidences you can produce for this assessment criteria will remain same. Like you can share the training matrix, you can share the competency matrix, you can share the organization or organizations delivery of training, and what type of trainings are there, things like that you will discuss there. Even how you are assessing the ability of anyone, things like this will be required for this assessment criteria. Is it fine? Yes, Mahmoud.
Like if we attach that competency assessment, it's okay?
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay, boss. But Mahmoud, do remember that whatever, if you are if you are just mentioning 3 to 4 activities there, that these activities needs competence and training, then you have to consider that with respect to evidence, you have to produce the competence assessments, and you also have to produce the training matrix there too, because you are asking about the training or things like that. But if your nature of activity or job is just same, and it is of one time or of same type or single type, then you can use only the competency assessments there.
Like if we have like done a third party training for the people, like IBAF training, okay, after this IBAF training they will have assessment. The
Yeah,
operators for the MUPs, they
yeah,
will have assessment. Can we use this assessment also?
yeah, you can use that because that assessment is part of training process, so you can use that.
Okay.
Okay, is it fine, teacher? Mr.
I'm still trying to understand the difference between 1.1 and 1.2. I've not really wrapped my head around the two.
Okay, listen. In 1.1, the focus is mainly on the activities you are performing in your organization and what competence is required in general. But in 1.2, you have to identify the health and safety competency needs of the functions, activities, tasks, and job roles of the organization. Tija, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm very much here.
I'm saying that, is it clear now?
Yes.
Okay, but do remember these four, even 2.1 is semi-competent. Yeah, even the first one in the second learning outcome, these all five are of the same type. So the evidences will be remain same for all these five assessment criteria. But do remember, you in the explanation, you have to explain them specifically. For example, in 1.3, now evaluate the health and safety competence needs of the organization, individuals in the organization. Now you can see that although we have critically analyzed and identify the same things, but here it's asking about the organization and individuals in the organization. So what you have to do here, again, you have to provide the information on the organizational competency needs and the individual's competency needs with respect to your organization. So same what happened, that competency assessments as an evidence will confirm that what type of needs, competent needs are required by the organization and by the individuals. Okay. Now moving forward to, yeah, Mahmood, please.
Okay, Mr. Asad.
Yeah, okay. In 1.4, it's saying address the health and safety competence needs of the organization. So what happened that in 1.1, we have focused critically, we critically analyzed the functions, activity, task, and job roles of the organization. In 1.2, we have identified the competency needs. And in 1.3, we have evaluated the health and safety competency needs of the organization and individuals in the organization. Now, in 1.4, it is asking about address the health and safety competence needs of the organization. So here it is asking about that how you will address the health and safety competence needs of the organization. That now you have identified that, you have evaluated that, now you have competence needs there, so in this regard you have to make arrangements to address these needs. For this, what you can do, you will develop training matrices, you will perform competency assessments, you will deliver the training to the workers, you will work on the perception of risk and perception of health and safety, so that the ability of workers can improve, the skills of worker can improve by engaging them different activities, so you can manage to address these competence needs issue. Is it fine with 1 point learning outcome 1?
Fine by me.
Okay. Now again in learning outcome 2, that be able to implement health and safety training to meet identified needs. Now it is focusing on the first learning outcome was just about the competence overall. Now the learning outcome 2 is focusing on the training needs for the organization, So it is just asking about that what is going on in your organization with respect to health and safety training. So for learning outcome 2, we have be able to implement health and safety training to meet identified needs. That what type of needs we have in the assessment learning outcome 1. So it is asking that now focusing on the training, as the training is a part of competence. So it is asking 2.1, establish health and safety competencies in the organization in terms of skill, knowledge, and understanding. When it comes to skills, knowledge, and understanding, the training is the only thing which can improve with skills, knowledge, and understanding, like high impact training, intervention, impact videos training, face-to-face training, hands-on training can improve the skills, knowledge, and understanding. So for this purpose, what you have to typically do, you have to make the training matrices, and for confirmation of that, if you are looking at the workers, so you are making sure that workers should have proper qualification with them, so it will work for them. Otherwise, without any basic knowledge, you are not able to train anyone. So in this regard, although we are focusing on the training, you have to explain that in your organization, like how you what type of people you are having right now, and what are your processes to provide trainings, and what are the training opportunities do you have in your organization. Like you are giving induction trainings, you are giving the ongoing trainings, and you are working on them on different opportunities, like if processes are changed, if technologies change. So whatever the opportunities you have in your organization, so you are performing the training, you are conducting the trainings for the all the workers, whether they are new or old. You have a proper training matrix, a training plan for all the workers to compete, to fulfill the need of their training need. So in 2.2, it is asking design and develop training courses to meet health and safety competence needs for given groups and within agreed constraints to include budget, time, skill, staff availability. So it is asking about that with three restrictions, constraints on you. You have to consider the budget for training, you have to consider the time scale, and you have to consider the staff availability. And then with respect to your organization, you have to explain that where have you developed training courses to improve levels of knowledge and understanding. Where means that at what level, or what are the opportunities you have in your organization that you have developed the trainings for that purpose. How did you take into budget, time scale, and staff availability into the consideration? So it is just simple that with a constraint of budget, time scale, and staff availability, you have to explain that what type of trainings you have developed at what level of the organization. So in this, you have to give me evidence of induction training with proof of delivery that you have given or conducted this training for the fresh workers. Then training sessions with proof of delivery. For it is about the ongoing training sessions, the workers who are doing refresher training, or you have a plan after 6 months or a year or 3 months that you are providing them the training. Then TBT with proof of delivery. So what you have to share in this, what are the potential evidence I am expecting from you, that you have to produce the induction training a session, you have to produce me the training, general training sessions, you have to provide me the TBT, but should remember that these are filled and showing that you were involved in it and you have performed that, and the people with you have also performed that. So actually I need these evidences with proof of delivery, that in the past 3 months, 6 months, you have as many as TBT or induction, or what I can say that for this purpose, you have many induction training for different workers, you have many training sessions for different old workers, and you have many TBTs. So you have to produce minimum of three evidences of all. So it will serve the purpose really very well. Is it fine, bro?
Yes, Mr. Asad.
Okay. Okay, now 2.3, deliver suitable training to meet the health and safety needs of individuals and groups in the organization. Here it is almost same. So what you have to do, you have to provide the evidence in the form of TBT. You have to produce the induction training form, record form, and the training session. So in this 2.3, you have to explain that for what purpose you have performed the induction training, for what purpose you have conducted the training sessions, why you are conducting the TBT, and for what level of individuals or groups you are doing that. For example, in the organization, we have different groups, the top management, middle management, supervisor, and the general workers. And other than that, you have the new employees there, you have the old employees there. So with respect to that, you have to explain that I have provided this evidence like induction training, so it is necessary by our organization for the fresh workers that before commencing the work they should have induction training in their bag. So they should the induction training, we ensure that the induction training conducted for them. So you have to explain with respect to groups and individuals. Is it fine, please?
Yes, Mr. Asad, yes.
Okay. Okay, in 2.4, it is asking that monitor the effectiveness of training to make sure that the identified needs have been met. So just what we have seen that in learning outcome 1, that first 3 assessment criteria were about the analysis, about the identification, and the 1.4 was the solution which is addressing that. So here in learning outcome 2 and the assessment criteria from 1 to 3, we have seen that we have worked with the establishment, development, and design and delivery of training. Now, whether we know, because just providing the training or just giving the training is not enough at all. So what we will do for effectiveness of that training, we have to monitor. What we have to monitor? We have to monitor the effectiveness of training to make sure that the identified needs have been met. That what we have identified with respect to health and safety training should be addressed properly, should be addressed adequately, that it's working, properly. So in this regard, what you have to do, you have to explain that how you are ensuring that training provided had met the requirements you originally set. And in this regard, what type of evidences you can produce after the training: course evaluation, statistics figure which show improvement, test, exam that can confirm that the training is going in the right way, and the implementation of that implementation after that training is effective, and now the processes, the jobs, the functions are going good. Is it fine, bro? Niyaz, teacher.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Okay, teacher, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, everything is fine now?
Okay.
Okay, fine. Okay, now moving for the last learning outcome, we have now how to develop that you should know this, that it is actually asking that being a part of management, as this is a course for a management level people. So it is just confirming, it is making sure that now how to develop and maintain individual and organizational competence in health and safety matter. So being a part of management or being a part of a health and safety department or being a part of a organization as a health and safety practitioner, you should know that how you can develop, not even develop, even you have to maintain the individual and organizational competence with regard to health and safety matter. So in 3.1, we have critically analyze the nature and role of individual and organizational competence in health and safety matters within the organization. So critically analyze what you have to do. Here, we don't need evidence, but what you have to do, you have to explain, because now it is asking about now how to develop, because it was discussed in learning outcome 1, but that was typically with the development, with the analysis, with the identification. But here it is discussing that you can do that thing if you have a good sound knowledge that how you can develop. You should have a knowledge of that. For that understanding, you have to explain, like in this, what you have to write here, that what is competence, what makes up competence, what benefit does a competent workforce bring to the organization. So you have to write the things about the competence in this form. Okay.
Again, Mr. Asad, please, one more time.
Yeah, sure. Actually, what you have to do, because it is asking about that, critically analyze the nature and role of individual and organizational competence in health and safety matter within the organization. The learning outcome is actually working on that you should have a proper understanding of how you can develop and maintain the individual and organizational competence in health and safety matter. In this, you should know first that what is competence, and what you can simply say that what is competence, what make up competence, and then what benefits does a competent workforce bring to the organization. So actually you have to explain the competence, the components of competence, and also the benefits of competent workforce in the organization. You have to explain that, and there will be no evidence required, because you are explaining your understanding there. Is it fine, Mahmoud?
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Okay, now 3.2, analyze the structure of the organization with respect to function, activities, tasks, and jobs. In this, what you will say, you will look at, you have to explain that what is the structure of your organization. Okay, what how you have what kind of work does your organization undertake, what roles do you have in the organization. Here there are three things you have to explain about your organization. First thing is that how is your organization structure, that what is the structure of your organization, then what type of activities, functions your organization is performing, and third thing is that what is your role in the organization with regard to that functions, that activities, that tasks and jobs. You have to explain that. Now moving forward, 3.3, evaluate the principles of competence, activity analysis, task analysis, and job safety analysis. So here you have to actually explain these analysis, that what type of analysis these are. So first of all, you have to explain what are the principles of competence. Then you have to explain activity analysis, you have to explain task analysis, and then you have to explain the job safety analysis, JSA, what you call normally. So here in this 3.3, we need 4 things to explain here. So you have to just evaluate here that with regard to your organization, what are the principles of competence, what and how your organization is working with regard to activity analysis, what you understand by task analysis, and what do you understand by job safety analysis. So you have to explain that. Then we have explain the relationship between competencies, skills, and qualification. So actually you have to explain that how these things can collectively collectively create or establish the competence of worker. So you have to explain in detail, like knowledge, ability, qualifications, skills, training, ability, everything you have to explain here. Is it fine, dear? Hello?
Like in this one,
Yeah.
Mr. Asad,
Yeah.
that the people with the competency, you need to explain only how this competency is affecting the skills,
No.
the skills of the people.
No. It is asking that you know that competence is knowledge, ability, training, and experience. Okay, is it fine? Okay, after this, you have skills like personal skills, and then you have some specified qualifications. Because in the CAT, you are saying that knowledge you can take from anywhere. Okay, then ability of doing the work, then ability comes once you do again and again some type of activities, or you have things like that. So then we have training and experience. But it is saying that skills mean the personal skills, the personal features of any worker, and the specialized, the specific qualifications. For example, I'm just going to guide you, like someone knows how to drive a forklift truck in the workplace. It is just a knowledge. So then when it comes to get a licensed training for licensed qualification for this typical driving is a something like qualification. Like we have different licenses for different vehicles. So that is basically a typical qualification. And then his physical, his practical performance, that how he is driving is something like well knowledge or his competence. So we have to combine the competencies, the skills, and qualifications to explain their relationship, that all these are collectively working for the better competence of workers. Okay. Now 3.5 is just explain the principle of. Here you only have to explain that. Okay, first you will explain training course design and delivery. You have to explain the advantages and disadvantages of different methods of presentation. course evaluation and validation, preparing, delivering, and marking tests and assignments, effective written and verbal communication, and here. But do remember that if in 3.5 you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sub-assessment criteria, sorry, sub-assessment criteria, for meeting this 3.5 criteria, you have to fulfill these 5 assessment criteria. If even one of it is missing, it means 3.5 is not met. If 3.5 is not met, then the learning outcome 3 is not met. And if the learning outcome 3 is not met, then your unit number 4 is not met, not passed at all. So should consider that even in the bullets, the sub assessment criteria mentioned should be addressed properly, and their relevant explanation and evidences should be provided there. Okay. So here we have the last 3.6 assessment criteria. Explain the external factors influencing individual and organizational competence in health and safety, health and safety statutory requirements and industry best practice, the quality management requirements for documentation. So here you have to explain the external factors which are influencing individual and organizational competence with regard to 2 things: health and safety statutory requirements and the quality management requirements for documentation. So here you have to explain that in your organization, how can external factors affect the levels of competence within your organization, and consider statutory legislation such as Registration 30 of the Management of Health and Safety at Work Regulations 1999, demands of clients, insurance companies, requirements of trade union, etc. So simply what you have to explain here, that what type of external factors are influencing to your organization with regard to individual and organizational competence, and just keeping in mind that what are the statutory legal requirements you are facing or you have, and then what type of quality management requirements are there in your organization with respect to individual and organizational competence in health and safety. So CPD, we are not going to work on that. So if you have any question, then you can discuss now. Any question there, please?
Mr. Asad,
Yeah.
can we go back to 3.5, please?
Yeah, sure. Yes, please.
Okay, can you explain it one more time, please?
Yeah. Okay. It is asking explain the principles of training course design and delivery. For example, you have to provide a training in your organization, or you have some trainings in your organization. So it is asking about that, what are the principles or what are your rules for designing the training course and how you are delivering, that you should have some specific principles, protocols there to perform this job. And then it is asking that the advantages and disadvantages of different methods of presentation, that if you are using some presentations, like you are presenting the knowledge through presentations or giving some training. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of different methods of presentation? Okay. Then course evaluation and validation, that what is your procedure what are your protocols just to evaluate that course and validation, that whether your course is enough for such type of competence, and your course is still valid with respect to your current organizational arrangements. So it is the evaluation and validation. So then preparing, delivering, and marking test and assignment. So you should have a clear protocols, you have procedures regarding the preparation of these course and their delivery, and how you are marking tests, and how you are taking assignments from the individuals who are taking these courses in the organization. Effective written and verbal communication regarding these trainings, how you are managing that too. Yes, Mahmoud.
Okay, Mr. Asad. Thank you.
Any question, please? Anyone?
No question on my side regarding this.
Yeah, it is a quite easy unit, I think so. What's your thought, teacher?
So if you well, the course is quite structured.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely
So
structured, and actually we have too much material for this with respect to our workplaces, with respect to our organization.
yes.
Because organizations are always working on these, that what type of qualifications guys who are entering in the field of health and safety are having, and what type of induction we have to review. Because as you know, that even the small type of organization, they are focusing on induction trainings. Even you can say there is maybe some type of issue with their the quality of their content, but still they are conducting induction training, they are conducting the refresher trainings. Even they have any change in the organization with respect to process technology, so they are having training matrices, they are having a training plan there. So it is just quite easy with respect to that. And even the second thing, why we are not having any ambiguity with this unit is that most of the people right now are handling these things on daily basis almost. Okay, everything is fine now, please.
Yes, everything is fine. But
Okay.
if you start the recording, I need to ask something on a different way.
Yeah, I will share, definitely share.
I say if you stop the recording
No.
now.
Yeah, stop.
I want to ask something out of.
Okay.